The following program contains naughty language that may be offensive to some people. Listener discretion is advised.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land.
Welcome back to the Realm with a View podcast. I am your host, utahpunk, and today we are going to be discussing the phenomenon surrounding the game PokemonGo.
I know it's my destiny. Oh, you're my best friend in a world we must defend. Pokemon, our hearts so true. Our courage.
So what is PokemonGo? Well, it's a mobile app that allows you to go out and catch Pokemon in your environment, around your house, around your town. You can travel to other towns and you can capture Pokemon there. See where this is going? It actually borrows its infrastructure from a game called Ingress, which was another mobile game that I played for about 2 weeks a couple of years ago. And the premise of Ingress, from what I remember, was you went to real-world locations in your community and you hacked into the portals. Now, when you initially signed up to play Ingress, you would choose, Team A or Team B, and you would go and hack into these portals. Now, if they were controlled by your team, you could collect items. From what I remember, you could... I don't really remember, but if it was controlled by the other team, then you could hack into it and slowly take control, and if you got enough people, you could actually hack into it and then gain control of that particular portal, I think is what they call them. I don't know. But they also would sometimes have hidden weapons that would attack you back and would drain your HP or your energy or whatever. Like I said, I only played it for about 2 weeks, so I didn't really get that deep into it. What I do remember, though, or what I do remember reading after Pokemon Go came out, was that they had used the infrastructure that was already in place from that game to develop Pokemon Go. It's interesting because I also saw somebody posted on Twitter that, oh, welcome to the year 2000, this is basically geocaching. So let's talk about geocaching, because some of you out there are probably looking at your computer going, geocaching? What the hell is geocaching? Well, we'll go into geocaching. This is slightly off topic from video games, but we'll go ahead and talk about it anyway. Geocaching is a military application that uses geosynchronous positioned satellites around the globe, around the Earth, to pinpoint your location. You use a handheld device here on the surface of the Earth. You turn it on, it communicates with the satellites that are up in the sky in geosynchronous orbit, and it triangulates and pinpoints your exact location, within a few feet sometimes. And the stronger connection you have to the satellites, the more accurate the reading is going to be, obviously. And the military, of course, used this to target specific locations when they were, I think, in the Gulf War. They would use that to paint targets that they were going to bomb and destroy, so that they would try to eliminate some of the civilian casualties. So it was good. And they eventually released it to, us civilians, and that was about 1998, 1999, somewhere in there. And then a company by the name of Garmin got involved and started developing just, a bunch of these little handheld devices. Some of the higher end ones actually had a display map on the screen with a little arrow that would track where you went, and people would take hikes and track their progress, and it was connected to topographical data, so it would actually tell you what your elevation was, what your latitude and longitude was, how fast you had traveled, what your average rate of travel was, if you were hiking, if you were driving a car. It wasn't too much longer after that somebody got the idea of doing geocaching, which was essentially a gigantic scavenger hunt, sort of. And what you would do is you would take a coffee can or an old ammo tin, and you would take it out into the middle of nowhere, or you would take it to some physical place in your community, and you would put a pen or a pencil, and maybe a pencil sharpener, and a spiral notebook, so that people could log their visit to your hidden cache. And you would sometimes, to try to maybe entice people to come and find it, you would include a few little trinkets. Maybe you'd go to the dollar store and you'd buy a couple of little toys, maybe a little Matchbox car or something like that for a couple of bucks. And you'd throw those in there, and then you'd hide it. And you would mark the location on your handheld GPS unit, and you would go to, I think the website's called geocaching.org. I'll have to double check that and leave a link in the description here on the YouTube channel. And you would log into their website and create a username, and you would upload the coordinates and give it kind of a general description of what it was, maybe include what the contents were. Upload that to the website, and other users would then come in and find geocaches that were in and around their area, and they would put them into their GPS and go to them, find them, and sign the logbook. Maybe take one of the toys, maybe they'd bring a toy of their own and they'd just kind of exchange it. And that eventually actually developed into something they call travel bugs, which was specific, usually handcrafted items somebody would make. They would attach these little, they look like dog tags, and they had a barcode on them, and it actually was marked with the words travel bug. And you would pick that up, and it would have a number assigned to it, and you would go to either a subsidiary website or to its own separate website, log the travel bug, where you found it, and what you were going to do with it. So if you went and then hid it in another geocache, you would log back into that one, and you could see and you could track where this travel bug went from location to location. It was kind of neat. And my parents and I did this for a couple of years. In fact, my uncle was the first person in the state of Utah to hide a geocache. So that's kind of cool. So my parents and I got kind of on this kick back then and decided we were going to hide a couple of them down around the St. George area. And so we hid one along the road that goes out to the Turtle Ranch, which if you guys have followed my YouTube channel, I've got a video about me going down to the Turtle Ranch. Well, I hid a geocache there and down at the Turtle Ranch itself. So I hid two of them, logged them, and continued to find a few others. It was kind of neat, kind of a fun little sport. But anyway, we eventually found out that Time Magazine was getting interested in this new phenomenon called geocaching. And so they, of course, went to the website. And mine happened to be one of the, more recently hidden items. They saw that I had hid a rubber snake in there. And so they wrote this article about what geocaching was, but they used my geocache as their example and said, if you want to go pick up this rubber snake, go to these coordinates and it's yours. Needless to say, that particular geocache saw a huge jump in visits from people. And they came from all over the West, all over the country, just to go visit my geocache. So how does this all tie into Pokemon Go? Well, like I said, somebody tweeted out that Pokemon Go was basically geocaching in the year 2016. And I guess in some ways it is. I haven't myself played Pokemon Go, and I don't know that I will ever play Pokemon Go. I don't really have an interest. I tried to play one of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games a few years ago. Played it via emulation. Played it for about 20 minutes. Found that I was getting kind of bored. So I imagine this is kind of a lot of things, and there's a lot of interesting stories circulating all over Facebook and Twitter and social media. People are crashing into trees searching for Pokemon. People are getting robbed or mugged. A girl in Wyoming found a dead body. So there's that. Who knows what else is going to happen by the time this phenomenon dies down. People are just aimlessly wandering around the streets in groups. I've heard locally that one of the parks here on a Sunday night had somewhere of 100 to 200 people just wandering around the park catching Pokemon. And that's it. One of the vendors that's in the park that sells, I think they sell churros and corn dogs and, kind of carnival food, said that she had never seen this many people in the park on a Sunday night. And then she figured out, it's Pokemon Go. So it is getting people out. It is getting people up off their butts. It's getting kids out. It's getting parents out. I saw another tweet that somebody said, this is getting me to spend more time with my child. So that can't be a bad thing. Am I going to play it? I don't know. I guess that's going to be something we're just going to have to wait and see. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. I see I'm approaching my kind of limit for what these podcasts are. I want to thank everybody so far that has supported the podcast and listened to the podcast. Don't know what my next topic is going to be, but until then, happy gaming.
No one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
Thank you for listening. This has been the ROM with a View podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.